"We don't want you at the wedding," my sister said. "It's no place for losers." Mom laughed. I replied, "Then you won't need my card." They kept joking. I just left. But by morning their credit cards declined, the decorators left, and everything changed. This whole thing made me angry, of course, because I don't think it's normal to help your sister plan her wedding, pay for half of it, spend weeks dealing with caterers, rental companies, and decorators she couldn't even pronounce the names of, only for her to turn around and act like she doesn't even want me there. Like I'm an inconvenience. Like I'm embarrassing to her. It started the way it always does in our family. Fake smiles and side comments. I had gone over to Mom's house because we were supposed to finalize the vendor list. I was the one organizing everything, even though it wasn't my wedding. Jessica and her fiancé Logan hadn't even bothered showing up to the last 2 planning meetings. I'd paid deposits out of my own savings to hold the decorator and caterer. No thank you. No offer to reimburse. Just silence. That day I was sitting at the kitchen table with my laptop open, trying to confirm final payment on the centerpieces. Jessica walked in talking loudly on the phone to someone, probably one of her friends she thinks is better than everyone. She hung up and said it like she had been waiting to deliver the line. "We don't want you at the wedding. It's no place for losers." She laughed. Mom laughed. I didn't. At first I thought maybe it was some kind of twisted joke. Like maybe she'd say just kidding right after. But she didn't. She just stood there smiling like she'd said something clever. Then Mom added, "Well, she's not exactly wrong, Linda. You don't really fit in with that crowd." I just stared at them. No one flinched. No one took it back. So I closed the tab I was on. Said, "Then you won't need my card." Got up, took my bag, and walked right out. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. But something shifted right there. Because what they didn't realize is that for the past 2 months, I had been the one holding everything together. The venue, the vendors, the backup plans, the bookings, all of it under my name. All of it paid with my money. And when I left, I took all of it with me. That night I started pulling the strings. I emailed the decorator and told her to pause all arrangements. I messaged the florist and told her the payment wouldn't be coming through. I canceled the cake order I had placed on their behalf. I didn't explain. I didn't apologize. The next morning my phone blew up. First Mom, then Jessica, then Logan, who I hadn't heard from in weeks, suddenly wanted to talk. They were still confused at first. Thought it was just a hiccup, a glitch in the schedule. But by noon they knew. The decorator had sent them a cancellation notice. The rentals were pulled. The chairs, linens, even the lighting crew I had booked. All gone. Jessica left 6 voicemails. The first few were angry. Then the panic started to creep in. "What are you doing? This is sabotage. You're ruining everything." But I didn't answer. Not because I didn't want to, but because for the first time I wanted them to feel what it's like to be powerless. To be left out. To not be considered. They had no idea how much work I had done behind the scenes because I never complained. They thought their little remarks didn't matter. They thought they could say whatever they wanted and I'd still show up, still pay, still play the part of the quiet, dependable sister who never gets in the way. But that version of me didn't exist anymore. They just hadn't figured that out yet. The first time Jessica called me crying, I didn't answer. I saw the call, let it ring, then watched her voicemail roll in. She said things were getting out of hand. That maybe I'd taken things too personally. That I should have known she was just under pressure. That she was joking. I listened to the message once and deleted it. Because what she didn't say was sorry. Not once. She didn't say I was wrong. She didn't say I never should have said that to you. She didn't even say thank you for everything you've done. Just, you're making things complicated, Linda. No, Jessica. I'm making things honest. For once. It didn't take long for reality to set in. The decorator was the first to formally pull out. The invoice was cancelled because I never sent the final payment. Once that happened, the stylist cancelled the entire design plan. Centerpieces, floral arches, table settings, gone. Then the cake baker followed. She said she had another client lined up and couldn't wait for internal family issues to be sorted. That was a $2,500 cake Jessica had picked out just because a reality TV star had posted a similar one. By noon they were in full panic mode. Jessica called again. 5 missed calls. 2 voicemails. The first was her voice shaking, trying to be firm, telling me I couldn't just pull out like this. That I was ruining everything. The second was quieter. Less yelling. More begging. She said she didn't mean what she said. That she needed me. That the wedding couldn't happen without me. And that's when it really hit her. Guys, it couldn't. She didn't have any money saved. Logan had just bought a $30,000 SUV he didn't need. They had no cushion. Jessica's income was mostly collabs and affiliate links for things she didn't use. She thought the money from the wedding fund my parents promised would save them. But what she didn't know, and what I had known for months, was that the fund was gone. Mom and Dad used it to replace the roof and fix the plumbing last spring. They just never told her because they assumed I'd step up and fill the gap quietly like I always did. Now the decorator was gone. The cake baker had moved on. The florist backed out because she said Jessica was rude on the phone and she only dealt with me. The rental company told her they couldn't release anything without my authorization, because the original agreement was under my name and credit. Suddenly Jessica was left with a venue, a dress, and a guest list, and no wedding. That's when Mom started getting involved. She came to my place without calling first. Just knocked and walked in like she always used to. She didn't even ask how I was. He just said, "You need to stop this." I didn't argue. I just asked what exactly she thought I was doing. He said Jessica was stressed. That things were just said in the moment. That it wasn't that serious. I asked if she thought I was punishing them. He said yes. But I wasn't. I was setting a boundary. They said they didn't want me there. They laughed in my face while I sat at that kitchen table planning her wedding. They made me feel small, like I didn't belong even after everything I'd done. So now I was simply taking myself and my wallet out of the equation. That evening, Jessica texted again. The tone had changed. She said we should talk. That she wanted to fix things. That it didn't feel right without me. But it didn't sound like an apology. Sounded like damage control. And I wasn't in the mood to be controlled anymore. I waited another day. Just one. Not because I was unsure, but because I wanted to see if Jessica would grow up for once in her life. Say something honest. Admit what she did. Apologize like a human being. Maybe even realize this wedding wasn't something she built on her own. Instead, she posted a story on Instagram of her and Logan fake laughing with iced coffees in hand, tagging the venue with the caption, "If you're stressed, just drink more champagne. Woman tipping hand sparkles. #bride vibes only." He still thought this was a game. Still pretending everything was fine, that she had it under control. She even responded to a comment saying, "Vendors are so flaky this season." Face with tears of joy. Good thing we have backups. Backups? She had nothing. I was the backup. I had always been. So I started pulling the rest of it apart. The hairstylist. She had been booked through my recommendation and paid through my account. I got the refund that same afternoon. The monogrammed robes she had picked out for her bridesmaids? I'd ordered them. I returned them all, including hers, still wrapped in the tissue paper she never bothered to open. The champagne flutes, the guest book, the acrylic signs with her and Logan's initials? All cancelled or returned. The charcuterie vendor for the cocktail hour? Gone. The string trio for the ceremony music? That was me too. Cancelled. Even the custom welcome bags for out-of-town guests? Cancelled. Everything she pretended to have handled on her own. I was the one who made it happen. And now I was the one making it disappear. She didn't notice right away. She was still too busy crafting her fake version of reality for her followers. But by the end of the third day, the cracks started showing. She messaged me again. This time she said she wanted to meet in person. That things had gone too far. She said she knew I was upset and she didn't blame me, but could we be mature now and just move forward? I didn't answer. Because nothing she said was real. It wasn't about me. It was about her reputation. She was bleeding vendors, losing money she didn't have, and she didn't know how to fix it without me. Then came the part that really pissed me off. She texted me late one night and said, "If you don't want to come to the wedding, I get it. But can you still cover the cake? It was kind of your idea and it'd be weird to not have it now." The cake. The one she mocked when I first showed her the design. The one she called too classy and not Instagrammable enough. But now that her alternatives had fallen through, suddenly it was her dream cake again. I stared at that message for a long time. I didn't respond. I didn't need to. Because by then I had already made up my mind. She had chosen a version of reality where I was disposable. Where all I was good for was paying and disappearing. She didn't want a sister. She wanted a wallet. I stopped answering texts. Blocked her number. Blocked Logan's too after he messaged me with, "Can we all just chill and move on? It's not that deep." I hadn't spoken more than 10 words to that guy in my life, and now he thought he could mediate. Then Mom called. She left a voicemail that started off calm, but by the end she was raising her voice. Said I was ruining the wedding, embarrassing the family, being petty. She even said Jessica had tried to apologize and I was the one dragging it out. They still didn't get it. They thought they could say anything, do anything, and I'd still show up at the last second and rescue them. That I needed their approval so badly I'd forget everything and just fall in line. But I was done falling. The wedding was now a week away. Guests were flying in. People still thought there was going to be a ceremony, a dinner, a reception. They had no idea there wouldn't even be chairs. And Jessica? She was out of time. What she did next proved exactly what kind of person she really was. And it crossed a line that changed everything. It was a Thursday, 3 days before what was supposed to be the wedding. I had taken the day off work because I needed a break from the messages, the phone calls, the fake apologies. I turned off my phone and went out. Just groceries, a coffee, and a few hours of pretending none of this existed. Around noon, I got a notification from my home security system. Motion detected, front door. I almost ignored it. I thought maybe it was just a package. But then another one came in. Motion detected, living room. And then, bedroom. That's when I knew. I opened the app and pulled up the feed. I couldn't believe what I was looking at. Jessica. Inside my house. She was moving fast but quiet. She had sunglasses on like she didn't even want to be recognized on the cameras. She looked around a few times then walked straight to my closet. Like she knew where she was going. And she did. I saw her pull open the small drawer under my hanging shelf. She found the envelope. Thick, unmarked, sealed. $15,000 in cash. I had taken it out a couple of weeks ago when I was switching accounts and didn't want to risk transfers getting held. I hadn't put it back yet. I hadn't told anyone about it either, except once in passing to Mom. And now I knew exactly who gave Jessica the idea. She sat on my bed and opened it like it was hers. Like she was entitled to it. She counted it in stacks, lips moving silently. And she smiled. I watched her take a deep breath, reseal the envelope and shove it in her oversized tote bag. Then she walked right out. Didn't even close the front door properly. My hands were shaking. Not just from the money, I could earn that back. But because it was her. My own sister. In my house. Stealing from me like it was part of the plan all along. I didn't call the police. Not yet. I wanted her to see my face when I confronted her. I wanted her to know I saw every second of it. I drove straight to my parents' house. I didn't call ahead. I just parked and walked up like I had 100 times before, except this time I didn't knock. I let myself in. There they were. Jessica, Logan, and Mom, sitting in the living room, takeout containers open on the coffee table. Laughing at something. They all turned when they saw me. The room went quiet. Jessica's smile dropped. I didn't say anything. I just pulled out my phone, opened the video and held it up. They all watched. Every second. Jessica entering my house. Walking into my bedroom. Taking the envelope. Counting the cash. Leaving like she didn't do anything wrong. Logan stood up and started saying something. Probably some excuse. Mom's mouth opened then closed. She looked at me then at Jessica but didn't say a word. I looked directly at Jessica and held out my hand. She didn't move. Give it back. She looked down then back at me. Slowly she got up and disappeared upstairs. I heard drawers opening. Cabinets. Then she came back down holding the envelope. No apology. No explanation. Just handed it over like that would fix everything. I took it. I didn't even check if it was all there. I turned to the door and before I left I said one thing. You're all dead to me. And I walked out. The next 3 days were quiet. Unnaturally quiet. I didn't hear from Jessica. Not a text, not a call. Mom didn't reach out either. I could only assume they were too embarrassed, too angry, or too busy figuring out what lie to tell everyone. Sunday came. The wedding day. Except there was no wedding. No ceremony. No flowers. No guests arriving. Some of the people who flew in were redirected to a last-minute brunch that was framed as an intimate engagement celebration. Jessica told everyone the wedding had been postponed due to unexpected family matters. But the truth started leaking. Vendors started talking. A few guests figured it out. One of Jessica's friends even messaged me privately asking if everything was okay, because what she was hearing didn't match what she was being told. I didn't respond. Let them figure it out. Let her explain why there was no wedding dress, no photographer, no venue. Let her explain why she tried to steal from her sister days before her wedding. The story was unraveling. And Jessica? She was about to realize she'd lost a lot more than just a ceremony. The wedding was supposed to be on Sunday. By Monday I expected chaos. Angry texts, tearful voicemails, maybe even Logan trying to mediate again. But nothing came. No calls. No apologies. No excuses. Just silence. They thought if they ignored me long enough I'd cool off and go away. That the embarrassment would fade and we'd all pretend it never happened. That I'd forgive like I always did. But I was done pretending. I spent that whole week thinking about how easy it had been for Jessica to break into my house and take $15,000 like it belonged to her. The more I thought about it, the more I realized that wasn't a breaking point for her. It was just a plan. An emergency withdrawal. I was nothing more than her backup funding, the invisible safety net she never thanked. And I wasn't the only one who noticed. A few guests who had flown in for the engagement celebration started quietly messaging me. One of them, a mutual friend from college, sent a DM that said, "Sorry Linda. Didn't know everything came from you. She said you flaked." Flaked. That word hit harder than I expected. Because I had been the only one who never flaked. I was the one who showed up, who paid, who planned, who made sure it didn't all fall apart until I chose to let it. That's when I decided to take back everything that still had my name on it. I made a list. A very specific one. The $600 heels I bought her after she cried about not having bride-worthy shoes. The luxury ring box I custom-ordered when Logan got her a cheap one from a chain store. The full engagement shoot I had paid for and booked under my name. The bridal robe I bought her. One she never paid me back for even after promising she would. I didn't want anything she touched. But I wanted her to feel the loss. I wanted her to look around and see the gaps. I wanted her to explain to everyone why everything was disappearing piece by piece. I texted her once. I'm coming for the ring box, the heels, and anything else I paid for. She replied 5 hours later with, "You're being dramatic. It's over. Let it go." He thought I was bluffing. So the next morning I drove to our parents' house. She and Logan were still staying there like nothing had happened. Like she hadn't tried to steal from me. Like I didn't burn her fake wedding to the ground. This time I knocked. Not because I needed permission but because I wanted her to know I wasn't sneaking around like she did. Logan opened the door. He looked surprised to see me, maybe because I wasn't yelling. I just walked in. Jessica was on the couch in her robe, scrolling through her phone, pretending she didn't hear me. I said it clearly, "I'm here for my things." She laughed. Said I was making a fool of myself. Said the wedding was done and nothing mattered anymore. She looked exhausted, like the performance was starting to wear off. But she still had that smugness, that belief that somehow this would all just fix itself. I walked past her straight to the guest room. I knew where everything was. The heels were sitting in the closet, still in the dust bag. The ring box was on the dresser, sitting open like a prop in a jewelry store. She'd used it for photo ops, tagged brands, even wrote a whole caption about how Logan nailed it with this detail. He didn't. I did. I grabbed them both along with a robe that still had the tag on it. She must have taken it from the box I returned, thinking I wouldn't notice. As I headed toward the door, Jessica said, "You really think this makes you better than me?" I stopped. I didn't even turn around. I just said, "No. I think it makes me free." And then I left. Later that night, one of the vendors, the string trio I'd booked, posted a subtle but savage TikTok about a bride who lost everything because she crossed the one person who held it all together. The comments weren't kind. Other vendors started adding little bits online too. Screenshots of canceled orders. Guess this one's not walking down the aisle after all jokes. Nothing too direct, but enough for people to start connecting the dots. I didn't say anything publicly. I didn't have to. Her followers started asking questions. Her close friends stopped tagging her. Her maid of honor unfollowed her completely. She wasn't just humiliated. She was alone. And for the first time she didn't have anyone to blame but herself. But the part that caught me off guard, the part one never expected, came 2 weeks later. There was a knock on my door. And it wasn't just Jessica. The final happy update. It was a Saturday 2 weeks after the wedding that never happened. By then the dust had mostly settled. At least from my side of things. Jessica had gone completely silent. Mom and Dad hadn't said a word since the day I showed them the video. My phone had been dry. No updates. No drama. No apologies. Nothing. I was fine with it. Better than fine, actually. For the first time in years I had no one asking me for favors. No one playing nice just to get something from me. No guilt trips. No backhanded compliments. No fake sisterly affection. Just space. Real clear space. So when I heard a knock at my door around 4 in the afternoon, I wasn't expecting anything serious. Maybe a neighbor. Maybe a package. But it was all three of them. Jessica and Dad. Standing there like a last-minute intervention group. Except none of them looked prepared. No forced smiles. No smugness. No sense of control. Jessica was in a hoodie and leggings, the kind she'd never post online. Her hair was tied back in a way that said she didn't care who saw her. Mom looked pale, like she hadn't slept. Dad looked like he didn't want to be there at all but knew better than to fight it. I stood in the doorway for a full 10 seconds before anyone said anything. Jessica was the one who spoke. She said quietly, "Can we talk?" I almost said no. But I stepped aside and let them in. We sat in the living room. The same place I sat when I watched her steal from me on the security feed. The same room I sat in when I made the decision to walk away from all of them. This time no one sat with their arms crossed. No one rolled their eyes. Jessica sat on the edge of the couch like she didn't feel like she belonged there anymore. And then slowly she started talking. She didn't make excuses. She didn't try to shift blame. She said she had messed up badly. That she had spent the last 2 weeks trying to convince herself that I'd exaggerated everything. But she couldn't. Because the truth was she knew exactly who she'd been. And she hated it. She said she couldn't explain why she thought it was okay to take from me. Why she thought I'd always be there no matter how she treated me. But she admitted it. All of it. Then she said something I wasn't expecting. When I walked into your house that day, I already knew you were done with me. I just didn't want to feel it yet. So I took something, because that's easier than feeling someone stop loving you. That hit harder than I thought it would. She looked down when she said it. No makeup. No jewelry. Just her. Then Mom spoke. And for once she didn't defend her. She didn't say I was overreacting. She said she'd spent her whole life protecting Jessica, even when Jessica was wrong, because it was easier than holding her accountable. She said she had gotten so used to me being the strong one, the reliable one, that she forgot I needed protecting too. Dad didn't say much. But he apologized. Quietly. Genuinely. It was the first time in my life I ever heard him say those words without a lecture attached. The room went still after that. I looked at all three of them waiting. Waiting to see if I'd let them back in or keep the door closed forever. And the weirdest part was, I didn't feel angry anymore. I just felt tired. And oddly, ready. I told them I forgave them. Not for the wedding. Not for the money. Not even for the break-in. I forgave them for years of being overlooked. For being the one no one checked on. For being treated like my love had to be earned while Jessica's was just expected. Jessica started crying again. Really crying. The kind you don't do unless something inside you finally breaks in the right way. And I just sat there nodding, still a little in shock that it was actually happening. That maybe, just maybe, things could shift. After a while the tension broke. I said, mostly to fill the silence, I haven't eaten all day. Jessica wiped her face and half laughed. Same. Mom looked up. Should we go get something? We all kind of paused. Then without deciding we just stood up and walked to my car. No reservations. No big family dinner. Just drive through McDonald's because it was close and easy and didn't ask anything of us. We sat in the car in the parking lot, unwrapping burgers and passing fries without speaking. And for the first time in years, it wasn't tense. It wasn't performative. No one was trying to impress or manipulate or one-up. It was just normal. It didn't fix everything. It didn't erase the past. But in that moment with greasy hands and paper cups, it felt like the start of something better. And I'll take that.